Okay, this is Vance, and this is Wednesday, September the 3rd, 2014. These are the CL trades for today using the slow method for price action. I've got two contracts on here, and I'm going to, I like this trade. It's the bottom of this tight trading range as far as I see. I mean, there's not a lot of room here, but the bias has been up all day for this morning. And I think that we're going to go higher. We've had this pullback. It hasn't been a broken of this trend line, so I think this is just a continuation pattern. So I entered in low. My 15 tick stop is below here. I have two contracts on. First contract is going to be off at plus 28 ticks, and it's a little bit higher, so I'm going to sell my first contract there. And my second contract, my target, is really going to be an area from yesterday's high. I'm looking at this area right here, which was really the low area of where we were yesterday. So I'm looking at 94.56 to the 94.81 area. So my second target is going to be below here with the double bottoms over this tight trading range I said yesterday. So I'm going to put my second contract, or second sell contract, is right there. And once my first contract is off, if it gets off, I'm going to move up my stop to break even plus one. And so that's what I've got as far as my trade is concerned. Now, why did I take this trade? I think it's a continuation pattern. We've had prices moved up to this area. We had the first pullback. It's really kind of like a second pullback. Yes, it's very tight and it looks like overlap, but because of this, the structure I think leads to higher prices, and I don't think we're finished. Now that the equity market is open, if we have a little bit of vibrancy there, maybe point to slightly higher like equity prices, and maybe bolster or return some of the losses that we had yesterday on the CL market. So that's what I'm looking for right now. So it needs to break through this upper area as far as the trade is concerned. It needs to break through a 94.20. The daily high so far is 94.23. So it's got to really get above that and hold in order to get a shot at this higher rate. I'll see how prices shake out here. I'm thinking that we'll hit the target within the first couple of bars. If it starts to stall, then I will look to closing out the trade with maybe just a couple of ticks loss or so forth. And so I'm looking at maybe scratching this trade if it runs into some trouble. We're at a really high rate. It's really more of this is more of a structured trade than a price action trade. I'm looking at the fact that I believe prices are going higher because of the movement that we had so far this morning, and that this is just maybe just a slight hesitation. So we'll just let it go for now and see how it works out. Okay, now that this bar is closed, I think it's a pretty positive sign. We had it ticked really above this high right here, and it's a pretty strong bar. So I'm going to stay with it. We're at 7 ticks. We're as much as 9 ticks ahead, and so I'm going to stay with this trade. I mean, it wouldn't be a bad thing. I mean, if the price comes down to here, it's a failed trade. So I mean, you can move this your stop, take some risk off below. As long as we stay below these bars right here, I think we're fine. So I can move this one up a little bit because, it's at the $94 area. So I'm looking at, again, 94.28. Slight hesitation here. Price is kind of pulling back. It can't break through here. We've got this doji, so it looks like it may be overlapping. It might be the top of this range. I'm still below these bars here. So really the trade has got to be the fact that I look at these bars together, and that this is a pretty strong bar when you add it all up, and then we're just at the top end of this particular bar. So what I'm saying is that if you add these bars right from here to here, it's still like just a hesitation bar. So my stop is realistically below these ones right here, even below this one here. That's why I had the 15 tick stop. I mean, my belief is that this is really the hesitation. It'll be my mid bar. So this would be the area where you'd be looking at having this your stop at the very most, or as far as this trade is concerned. But again, I want to see it complete. This isn't of major concern at this point in time. I'm looking at we have to get 94.28, so we're only 9 ticks off from that target. So that's what I'm looking for, is 28 to get my first contracts off. Once that happens, I'm going to the next target I have set up is 94.57. Despite the fact that it's come back, you can see that this is bar. We have this overlap here. I'm still staying with this trade. And the reason I'm staying with the trade right now is because I'm still looking at this up here. I'm looking at the fact that we're an upward trend. At this point in time, the bias is up and in this direction, and that looks like to me this continuation pattern. Is it two pullbacks, first pullback, second pullback? Well, I don't know. I think more along the lines of the fact that it's more of a structure trade. My stop is below what I see as capitulation under these areas, originally right here. I limited in, at the very least, it's the bottom of the tight trading range, or the precursor to a continuation pattern. So if you look at any area around here, I mean, even from this bottom right here to, let's say that from this move to this area, we've had pullback to here. So if this is two pullbacks, and let's say that pullback is to this area where I got in, I think that there's room to get out, in particular with my first contract. So I'm staying with the way it is and looking at it from the basis of retracement. If it stalls, I mean, that's the thing. If it stalls right here, then perhaps price is looking at heading down in this direction. So the idea is that the top of my tight trading range is probably around this area. If you have the most touches, let me just pull this back down here. Like somewhere around here, if this is the top. So you can see that it's been bumping along there for the last few bars, breaking through, but it needs to break over here and hold. So that's what I'm looking for. But I'm still staying with this trade. I still like it. Patience for that reason. My stop is, as I said, is 94.03, and on my head run tick, I was ahead as much as 8 ticks. It's pulled back, but I'm still staying with it because when you look at it on balance, these bars here, it's a fairly strong move up, and I'm looking for a second move off of this continuation. And I like my entry. My entry is down here. I mean, maybe an ideal entry would have been a little bit lower, but that was too early. I think that the entry is like limiting in right here is a good entry. So I'm satisfied with my entry, and I think my target is reasonably conservative, even though it's above the top tight trading range here, and that's why I'm staying with it. Okay, my first target's been taken out. I got my first contracts off. My stop is break even +1, and now I'm looking for this measured move. So what I'm going to do is that after you have a breakout, like remember 80% of all breakouts fail, we might come back and we might test this area. Hopefully it won't come back far enough to take out my stop at 94.14. But if it survives that, I'm looking at this 94.57 area corresponding to the bottom of this range from yesterday. And ideally, depending how price gets to there, I might even look moving out even further, considering that $96 was up here. So we're at 94.27, and we've already had this fairly strong move up. We might have a retracement really back to this area, so that's what I'm waiting for. That's what I'm looking at. So I'm going to stick with this trade for the time being and manage my stop, move it up as I think that we get to areas of more support. All right. I mean, as far as the trade, it's moving up nicely. I'm going to move my stop up just below these, where these tops are right here. I think this is get a bit of a larger move up here. Just move this up below this area right here. So now I've locked in basically, it's called 10 ticks. And we're ahead 27. What I like to do here is go behind like 2 bars. And right down here, it's a reasonable area. Not giving all of it back, but at the same time, I've got a little bit of room here. So I'm keeping it back 2 bars. We're ahead like 24 ticks at this point. And this is where my target is. Not necessarily written in stone, but I mean, look at it. We look at where this reasonable measured move would be, and I've already kind of got this. I'm thinking like maybe up to here, and so I'm kind of close to that. If price gets up to this measured move, even though the stop is from yesterday, that would be a reasonable target, I would think, somewhere close to that. Okay, my price came back and took me out. Didn't quite make my target, but that's okay. I'll look perhaps for another entry, either long, or perhaps this is the exhaustion that we're looking short. So this trade took a total of 42 minutes before it took me out. I was only ahead, I got ahead 15 ticks on my runner, so it was 2 contracts at plus 15, so it was really 1-to-1 trade. And that's it for now. So if you have any questions, please let me know. This is Vance. Bye for now.